Welcome back to my booktube. So this video is going to be about my to be read pile. Not every book on it because my Goodread has confirmed that I have over 150 books on there, which are all in my room. So that would be a long video, and I don't think you or me really want to sit through 4 hours of me talking. So I'm going to get straight to it. I have picked random books off my bookshelf, off of different shelves, different areas. Some you might not have seen before on my book tour because I couldn't get to certain areas. The first one is going to be The House at Baker Street. Just found a bookmark. I didn't know there was a bookmark in it. Okay, we don't have a bookmark. Just gonna put that back in there. So my brother got me this book, and if he's watching, I'm really sorry that I didn't notice the bookmark about a year ago. So he got it for me for my 20th birthday. The House at Baker Street. Behind every great detective stands a great woman. So when Sherlock Holmes turns down the case of a prosecuted Laura Shirley, Mrs. Hudson, the landlady of Baker Street, and Mary Watson, the wife of Dr. Watson, resolves to take on the investigation themselves. From the kitchen of 221B, the two women begin their inquiries and enlist the assistance of Baker Street irregulars and the infamous Eileen Adler. A trail of clues leads them to the darkest corner of Whitechapel, where the fearsome Ripper supposedly still stalks. They soon discover Laura Shirley is not the only woman at risk. The lives of many others are in danger too. As Mrs. Hudson and Mary Watson put together the pieces of an increasingly complex puzzle, the investigation becomes bigger than either of them could imagine. Can they solve the case, or are they just pawns in a much larger game? So, someone's playing with my dog downstairs and all I can hear is barking. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. So my brother knows I absolutely adore Sherlock Holmes. I own the whole collection of books, plus the BBC released books, plus we went on a Sherlock Holmes tour kind of thing around the Museum of London, where it had all like Sir Arthur's sketches, his writing notes, etc. And I told my brother and he bought me this. So him and his girlfriend currently live out in Sweden. So when they came over last year, they bought me the book from one of my favourite bookshops out in Sweden, which is the Pocket Shop. Let's show you the end of the bookmark. So every time I'm out in Sweden, I visit there and a bookshop which I can never remember the name of, but has the dragon on the sign in the old town in Stockholm. I go there every time I visit and always leave with a pile of books. So I'm really looking forward to this because again it's a Sherlock Holmes book, or based around the detective, but also it's more Mrs. Hudson and Mary Watson, which again I think could be really interesting to read because you don't really hear about them much in the books. It's not, they're in there for little snippets, but that is definitely high up on my to be read list right now. You'll have to excuse me. Yeah, I just drank loads of fizzy drinks really quickly, so that's something in my throat, you know, when you down fizzy drinks. Another Sherlock Holmes book, Who Killed Sherlock Holmes. I saw this in the book in bookmarks are formed out of every book. I went around and can find a bookmark. They're in all my books anyway. I saw this in Sweden, but unfortunately I couldn't bring it back because I'd bought loads of other stuff and it wouldn't fit in my suitcase no matter how much I tried. So I remembered it, I wrote down the name and everything, and I bought it once I got back in England. So the ghost of Sherlock Holmes is dead, but who will solve his murder? The great detective's ghost has walked London street for an age, given shape by people's memories. But now someone puts a ceremonial dagger through his chest. But what's the motive, and who or what could kill a ghost? When police in London's supernatural underworld, eliminating the impossible is not an option. D.I. James Quill and his detectives have learnt the hard way. Gifted with a sleight, they pursue a criminal genius who lures them into a Sherlockian maze of clues and evidence. The team also have their own demons to fight. They have been to hell and back, literally, but now the unit is falling apart. So I just thought this sounded strange. You've got the picture of London on the back and the front, and I'm thinking it's more in the present age, so I wanted to see how that was done. And again, it's a Sherlock book, so you know, that just kind of got me at first glance. Crooked Kingdom. This has a bookmark in for a purpose, because this is what I'm planning on reading next. So I always put a bookmark in the front. So Kes Bracker and his crew have just pulled off the most daring heist imaginable. But instead of divvying up fat rewards, they're fighting for their lives. Double-crossed and badly weakened, they're low on resources, allies and hopes. While a war rages on the city street, the team's fragile loyalties are stretched to breaking point. Kaz and his crew will have to make sure they're on the winning side no matter what the cost. So I read Six of Crows after it was all over my Tumblr dash and I couldn't escape it. And I really enjoyed it, so I bought the second book. And I'm thinking of buying her other books, and they will probably add to my horrendous out of control to be read list. I don't think there's much I can say about this, because obviously I haven't read any of these books. I just saw it on Tumblr. Well, Six of Crows on Tumblr, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm not spoiling anything for anyone, so this is obviously completely spoiler free. And yeah, this is my next book to be read. Again, a lot of these I've seen on my Tumblr and have wanted to read, so I have. What is going on in this house? Every time I sat down, the last video I was called for dinner, so I had to pause that. The dog's barking and now the phone's going. Is there ever a piece of quiet in this? So, More Than This Patrickness is a book I picked up. I think I just finished reading The Monster's Calls, and I really enjoyed that, so I wanted to read more Patrick Nick's books. But I haven't got round to it, because every time I go to get round to it, there's a book that just jumps out on my shelf. I don't plan on reading books at certain times. I have to read them when I feel like reading them, because otherwise I will never get round to them. Which probably doesn't make sense. But a boy drowns, desperate and alone in his final moments. He dies. Then he wakes, naked and bruised and thirsty, but alive. How can this be, and what is this strange, deserted place? As he struggles to understand what is happening, the boy dares to hope. Might this not be the end? Might there be more to life, or perhaps this afterlife? So, again, I saw a lot on Tumblr, and I went out and bought it. I was walking around the town not far from here and went in the bookshop, and my to be read pile grew by about 12 books, which is really bad. I blame my boyfriend, because I'll start picking up books and it just escalates, like, oh, this looks good, and he doesn't drag me out to shop. He just stands there and is like, oh, this one looks good, throws it on the pile. He is just as bad as me. So we have Ink, and to be honest, the cover looked pretty. Okay, the cover looked... I've done something on my computer, ignore it. The cover looked really pretty, so I thought I'll pick it up. And then it didn't sound too bad. There are no secrets in Sandstone. Imagine a world where your every action, your every deed is marked on your skin for all to see. And Leora has something to hide. Ink is a story about love, loyalty, and the desire to live forever. It's a tale that gets under your skin. Can I just ask, point out why, although this is a beautiful cover, and I probably wouldn't want to read, ruin the back, why have they started putting, the blurb on the inside cover? I want to pick up a book, see the front, see the back, and go, oh yeah, that sounds good. Why has it started being in here? What annoys me, I'm going on the rant now, is when they just have reviews by other authors and it's one line across the whole back. You're like, cool. So I know the name of the book, and I know what other people think, but I have no flipping idea what it's about because I have to turn to the front page. Okay, rant over. So my LGBT pile, I bought it because it was LGBT and I read a lot about it. I haven't read it yet. I don't think I've been in the right mood. I don't know what kind of mood I have to be in to read this, but I will obviously get round to it, and I'll probably get people come in and comment and be like, read this now. Dante can swim, Ari can't. Dante is articulate and self-absorbed. Ari has a hard time with words and suffers from self-doubt. Dante gets lost in poetry and art. Ari gets lost in thoughts of his older brother who is in prison. Dante is fast, fair-skinned. Ari's features are much darker. It seems like a boy like Dante, with his open and unique perspective on life, would be the last person to break down the walls that Ari has built around himself. But against all odds, when Ari and Dante meet, they develop a special bond that will teach them the most important truths of their lives and help define the people they want to be. But there are big hurdles in their way, and only believing in each other and the power of friendship can Ari and Dante emerge stronger on the other side. Yeah, to be honest, I just thought it sounded really good, and I can't really say much else. And when I heard it was an LGBT book, I just kind of bought it straight away, which is probably half of my problem. We are getting low on my pile now. So, the first Stephen King book I read, I was about 11, 12 years old, and that was The Shining. And I really, really enjoyed that book. And I watched the movie because my mum thought it might help me understand it more, and it was only when I watched the movie I realised how crap the movie was and how much better the book is. And I lost my original copy of The Shining and I cried. I actually cried. It was really well loved. And then my parents bought me a new copy, and my sister went through all her stuff in her room because we used to share a room, and she found my old copy. And I was so happy, but then I thought I'm going to pass it on, so I actually gave my old copy, my very, very loved copy, to my boyfriend so he can read the book. And I wrapped it up with a nice ribbon for him, and yeah, I'm going to make him read that book, as well as a lot of other Stephen King books. But I bought this after seeing it, and it was half price, and I grabbed it, and I think I scared my boyfriend. Because I saw a Stephen King book, half price, that was mine. There was no question about that. So, I've made some things for you, and see them laid out before you in the moonlight. But before you look at the little handcrafted treasures I have for sale, come a little closer. I don't bite, except I suspect you know that's not entirely true. I'm just having a nose in. I think, if I remember, I don't know, it's not this one. One of the books I have, you take off the dust cover and there's this beautiful, beautiful illustration underneath. I can't remember what book it is. So, yeah, I bought this because Stephen King's one of my favourite authors. Like I said, it was half price and that book was being mine. There's not really a lot to talk about these books. Before my book collection grew to a tea of me drowning and crying, I bought the complete Grimm's fairy tale, and I haven't read them because if I take this out, so it's covered in fabric and it feels really nice, and then I opened it and the pages are really, really thin, and it's got like beautiful illustrations, and I'm really scared of damaging it, which is really sad, I find. But I will read it. I plan to read it. I tried to read it once for a Halloween read. I try to stick it in the case without damaging the book. Oh my god. Reading troubles. So I really liked fairy tales and Brother Grimm, so I bought this whole collection. I have read some of their stories before, but the Brother Grimm, Jacob 1785 to 1863 and Wilhelm 1786 to 1859 were German academics, linguists and cultural researchers, though they were legendary of course for their storytellings. They collected and recorded stories from the wild wealth of European folk tales, and their aim was to retell the tales exactly as they had heard them. The work of the Brother Grimm popularised such classics as Cinderella, the Frog Princess, Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin and Snow White. Originally titled Children's and Household Tales, the complete Grimm's fairy tales contained the essential bedtime story for children worldwide for the better part of 2 centuries. Accompanied by 40 colour plates and 60 black and white illustrations from award-winning English illustrator Arthur Rackham, the complete Grimm's fairy tale is the perfect classic edition for your family bookshelf. I don't know about much, but I don't think I would read these to my little children. I haven't actually read Cinderella, but I swear they cut their feet off to fit in the slipper. I think that's sending some twisted messages to some children. Might scare the little heebie-jeebies at the little darlings. But yeah, I thought that was a beautiful addition, and it stays on my very top shelf, whereas there is absolutely no chance of anyone coming in and ruining it. Right, if anyone knows me, you'll know I absolutely adore Les Miserables. When I was younger, I sat on YouTube one day, and I know Les Miserables, my mum had brought me up on some of the songs, as well as some from Little Shop of Horrors and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, I have known how to do all the dances and sing all the songs since I was about 4 years old, so... Yeah, but Les Miserables, I watched the originally the 10th anniversary one when I was younger on YouTube, and then I found the 25th anniversary on YouTube. I watched the old film before it was turned into a musical, which, let me tell you, that drags. And the new film, obviously, and my mum took me to go see it. I can't remember if it was earlier this year or last year. Took me to see it in London, which was probably one of the best days of my life. So I got Les Miserables from stage to screen. It's really padded, and it just makes me laugh trying to laugh. It's like a big cushion. But yeah, I know a lot of Les Miserables, and I recently, I think it was last year, read the book, and that answers so many of my questions. So this book has so many flaps and bits that you can lift up to read. So it's from different countries, shows you different actors, how they filmed it, how they sang. It has posters. It's just horrendous, this book. There's so much to it. So over the last 25 years, the globally successful musical Les Miserables has entertained and moved audiences, totaling more than 60 million in 43 countries, and is now a dazzling film that will thrill its many fans and bring the story to millions more. Beautifully illustrated with images from behind the scene of both theatre and film productions, this book tells the story of the incredible phenomenon that grew from a modest Paris production into a multi-award-winning show thanks to the collaboration of its writers. Alain Boublil and Claude Michael Chambéry. I'm really sorry, I can't pronounce French. Like, I try, but I really can't. And the theatrical producer Cameron McIntosh. As the musical comes to the big screen as a sensational movie featuring a stellar cast including Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seyfried, Eddie Redmayne, Helena Bonham Carter, and Sacha Baron Cohen, and directed by the Oscar-winning Tom Hoopla, Les Miserables from stage screen offers a fantastic insight into the amazing story through the inclusion of 20 items of memorabilia, such as the poster from the 25th anniversary production at the Barbican, a first night party invitation, programme, etc. and prop lists, original stage and costume designs, scene drawings and set designs from the film, and much more. Did you know that when they set up Les Miserables, and they got loads of people to first watch it, it was in the newspapers in France that it would never set off because it was so depressing. And now it's one of the biggest musicals. Even if you've never seen it, most people have heard of it. Most people know the general gist of it. And they really thought it was going to fail. And I bet them people are now laughing. I apologise first for my terrible reading. And my stutter, probably. But, hey-ho. So I saw this when I was in London and seeing it. I bought a t-shirt and there was this on the stand, and I didn't have my bank card with me because I was up in London. I only had cash and I didn't have enough for the book, so I tried to remember the front cover because I was not risking taking a photo of it in London, and I came home and I bought it straight away the same night, which was shattering. And I have flicked through and I have read parts of it, so it's kind of like on my to be read list and kind of on my read list. I think this is one book you don't read all the way through at the same time. I think it's one of them you have to pick up as you go through. I'm going to have to, this is really heavy, but I think it's one of them you have to read on when you're ready and you have a bit of a time to sit down and just digest it. So they are a couple of books. How many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 books from my to be read pile of 150. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment below if you've seen any of your favourites and you really think I need to read that next. Comment if you know of any books that I should add to my to be read pile. I might have it, I might not. But let me know, I'm always up for reading more books. So this is a really long video and I apologise, but until next time, goodbye.